A teacher humiliated a quiet student. What happened? Years later shocked everyone. A teacher once humiliated a student in front of the entire class. What happened afterward changed more lives than anyone expected. The student was very quiet. He always sat at the back of the classroom, near the window where no one really noticed him. He never raised his hand. He never asked questions. Not because he didn't care, but because he was afraid of being seen. At home, life was not easy. His family struggled financially. Some nights, he studied under a dim light, wondering if school was even worth it anymore. In class, he tried his best to stay invisible. To him, silence felt safer than speaking. One ordinary morning during a math lesson, the teacher suddenly stopped explaining and looked around the room. Her eyes landed on him. "You," she said sharply. "Answer this question." The room went quiet. The student froze. His heart started beating fast. He slowly stood up, holding his notebook tightly. He tried to remember the formula, but his mind went blank. He gave an answer. It was wrong. The teacher laughed, not a gentle laugh, not a correcting laugh, a laugh that cut deep. She looked at the class and said loudly, "You don't understand anything. You're wasting my time." For a second, there was silence. Then the class laughed. Some students laughed nervously. Others laughed loudly. A few looked away, uncomfortable. The student lowered his head. His ears burned. His hands trembled. Tears filled his eyes. He wanted to disappear. That day, he didn't speak again. When the bell rang, he left the classroom quietly, walking home with his head down. That night, he didn't open his books. For the first time, he asked himself, maybe I'm not meant for school. The next day, the student didn't come to school. The teacher noticed the empty seat, but she said nothing. Days passed. A week later, the truth came out. The student had completely dropped out of school. No goodbye, no explanation. Just gone, life moved on. Years passed. The teacher continued teaching. She forgot about that quiet student at the back of the class. To her, it was just another day. Another mistake, another student. But for the student, that moment stayed with him. Outside school, life was hard. He worked small jobs. He failed. He learned. He failed again. But something inside him changed. He promised himself one thing. No one will ever make me feel small again. He started learning on his own. Reading books. Watching videos. Asking questions, this time without fear. Slowly, he discovered something surprising. He wasn't stupid. He wasn't useless. He just needed someone to believe in him. Years of effort turned into progress. Progress turned into success. And success turned into leadership. Years later, that same teacher received an invitation. A large, successful company invited her to give a professional training session. She felt proud, excited. When she arrived at the building, she was impressed by its size. The glass walls, the confident employees. She walked into the main hall. Everyone stood up. Then the top executive entered. A well-dressed man. Calm, confident. When he looked at the teacher, he paused. Then he smiled. It was the same student, the quiet boy, the one she humiliated years ago. The room was silent. The teacher felt her breath catch. She recognized him instantly. He stepped forward and said calmly, "Welcome. Thank you for coming." There was no anger in his voice. No revenge. Just truth. In that moment, the teacher understood. Sometimes, one sentence, one laugh, one moment of humiliation can change an entire life. Words can break someone, or they can build someone. Do you remember a school moment that hurt you? Or a moment when someone believed in you? Share it in the comments.